Hello guys, it's Sam, and talking about, was 991 in fact an inside job planned and committed by the Israel people and some of the top agents of the CIA? It has been proven that there's pre-planted controlled demolition devices that were used to bring down the 3 steel framework skyscrapers at the Trade Center complex, which were all owned by the Larry Silverstein and Israel Jew were very close to the Mossad. So he purchased the World Trade Center in July 2001, shortly after the New York Port Authority lost a lawsuit, and basically he lost money. So he's put in $100 million, and half the buildings were worth half of that, and Silverstone would have gone bankrupt within a few years at most had the towers not been illegally demolished in September 2011. Thanks to illegal demolition, Silverstone who had doubled the terrorism insurance policy and changed it to cash payout when he finally purchased in July 2001. He walked off with $5 billion cash, and he only put $100 million investment into it. So Silverstein, despite not being the owner of the buildings, was solely beneficial of the insurance payments for more than $7 billion. Good for Larry that he'd not forgotten to increase his insurance policies, so he walked away with actually $7 billion and then demanded it to go to $7.2 billion. And what is really funny is that there's actually pictures of the 9/11, and you can see like a controlled explosion going off at the side, like they set it off too early. And what's even more funny is the tallest building in Shekinah catches fire and burns for 29 hours straight, and it didn't collapse. The Twin Towers were on fire, but they did collapse. Skyscrapers cannot collapse on fire. It is physically impossible, which means that some bomb would have gone off, because a plane crashing into the top floor wouldn't have brought down the bottom floors. So obviously this proves that it could physically be demolitions going off. Israel attacks America, and there's even other pictures showing you about how the you can see the controlled demolitions going off at the sides. There were other attacks on 9/11 towards the police, like the one in Lincoln Tunnel. There's no evidence of an attack on the bridge, but arrests were made in Israel and proof had existed. The police testified. So yeah, all the evidence is pointing towards this man who has obviously paid the terrorists quite a bit of money, because he knew that he'd get a lot of money from insurance. In fact, that he actually raised the insurance before, like a couple of days before the thing happened. And even more proves that it was an illegal thing. Like, I think the plane going into it was just like just trying to cover it up, when actually he blew it up himself. I think that like he had controlled explosives in, but it didn't. He was expecting the plane to fly into it, hit the explosives go off, and basically explode all the other explosives, except it didn't work, so he had to remotely set them off, and he remotely set it off before. As you can see in some of the pictures, there's a little like squib as the evidence of a premature charge in a controlled demolition sequence. So anyway, thanks for watching. Comment your ideas and views below.